So just what the heck is Brew? Brew is an action roguelite set in a fantasy alchemy academy and describes itself as an experience for players who love the gameplay of Ratchet and Clank with elements of Hades and relationship building of Stardew Valley. It's an indie game made by Snow Leaf Studios, a brand new indie studio from Norway after 6 people met in university for game design and wanted to develop their own game. Originally, I had streamed the demo of this game several months ago, and mostly had 2 issues at the time. The first was the tutorial was very laggy for me, on minimum settings, and the second was that it was very rare for me to find potion ingredients to get to interact with one of the main parts of the game. Luckily, both of these issues have been largely fixed in the full release, and I'm very happy about it. However, it would be nice if potions ingredients could be a little more common, because it stole one of the major fun parts of the game, that I wish I got to use more instead of having to be careful with my supply. Maybe something like the potions are rechargeable, and as you collect more ingredients, they charge faster or can stack up additional uses. Just a quick suggestion because I don't like to complain about a problem without at least having an idea how to help. Okay, let's get into what this game is so that any of what I've just said makes any sense. You play as the New Kid, an anthropomorphic mouse who failed the entrance exam over 50 times. One of the professors at the school, known as the Alkian Alchemy Academy, decided to sponsor your entrance, did not reveal themselves in a letter sent to you to know you've been accepted. Arriving at the schoolyard, you are greeted with a courtyard, a small area between classes where you can interact with classmates, where you meet New, your first friend, Cinna, a rival who hates your guts because she's angry with her dad or something probably, and Marcel, the shopkeeper for unlockable upgrades. All of these characters have friendship meters and will like and dislike certain potion ingredients that you will have to collect. Raising their friendship unlocks new potion ingredients or badges to pick up while in the combat section. Once the garden is unlocked, there is a wishing well that you can pay 1 medallion to help increase a character's relation to you. Rewards won't be given until after getting to see the friendship scene, which will happen between runs. After you've gotten your bearings just about, you can make your way to the tower, which will start the combat tutorial and be on your way to progressing through the game. The tower is the main gameplay loop. Separated into classes, you start with Mechanology class and have to clear combat and break rooms to eventually reach the Mechanology teacher and ascend. The basic tower order is combat and then a break room, which you will often get 2 options of a number of rooms such as bonus ingredients, foods, elixirs, challenge, a library, treasure room, and a shop. Challenge rooms will have a small particle puzzle that is timed. If you manage to beat the time, you get a large reward, but if you don't, you'll get a smaller one. Libraries have special tomes to upgrade your potion effects. Shops are where you can spend corks you get from defeating enemies or opening chests on additional items to help your journey. Treasure rooms offer a treasure chest, normally with a badge inside. And then ingredients, food, and elixir rooms will have a vending machine where you can get a couple of that type of item. Food giving you bonus stats for your current run, and elixirs giving you temporary buffs for a certain amount of rooms. Through Marcel, the shopkeeper, you can also unlock access to the fountain room, which will have a healing fountain, and the medallion room, which will give you 2 medallions that are only usable from Marcel's shop. Break rooms also normally have a cauldron in, which you can place a potion ingredient in to later give to one of your classmates when the run is over. In combat rooms, you will fight 3 waves of enemies, with small rewards for the first 2 encounters and then a bigger one at the end. The game is primarily played in third person with your weapon being your potion gun. Once you have ingredients, you can craft potions by holding tab, highlighting the potion you want to create, and then holding left click. Once you have a potion, you can decide to throw it, load it into your gun, or drink it, each potion having different effects depending on what you do. As mentioned earlier, you can acquire tomes from the library or randomly through the end of combat room chests, which will upgrade or give additional effects to your potions. Another previously mentioned mechanic is badges. These are more so upgrades to your characters, such as chances on hit to apply poison, critical strikes, or spawn a lightning strike for additional damage. Professors are the boss of each level, and you will always fight the same professor for each class. Each boss arena will also always have a cauldron so you can store additional gifts for classmates. If you defeat the professor, you will receive a chest, have a fountain you can drink from for a little bit of healing, and decide if you want to climb higher or leave the tower and go back to the courtyard. If you are defeated, you will return to the courtyard the next day, and you are now able to talk, gift, and watch any friendship scenes that might be happening that day, as well as spending any medallion at Marcel's. After your first day, you should meet Aster, which will unlock an additional form of meta progression, which is skill trees. You can choose between Scholar, which primarily increases your combat, Fortitude, which increases your health and defense, and Tinker, which gives utility skills, like starting with a random badge or getting to reroll options. Defeating a professor also lets them be found in the courtyard, being able to talk to them as well as give them gifts. And that's pretty much all there is for the game. Now I would like to give some more of my thoughts on it. Overall, I found it very fun and charming. Of course, roguelikes are one of my favorite genres, so I often play them a lot, but if you don't, I can understand. I certainly feel like for this one, it's much more on the easier side, and even has an easier story difficulty, so if you're worried that Hades was too difficult for you, but you enjoy the idea, maybe this one could be more fitted to you. I do have issues a bit with how floaty Jumpy is, and how difficult it makes the parkour sessions sometimes. It would be a bit nicer if, like many platform games, you would instantly stop your movement as soon as you stopped hitting the key that moves you, or holding down the thumbstick. Instead, you have to hit the opposite direction really quickly to stop any momentum. Another issue I've been having is the amount of friendship scenes you can interact with each time you enter the courtyard, as it seems to only be one, which is causing me to max out friendship with characters I haven't even gotten one interaction with. I would like it if there was a system to break it up based on where the scene starts, so if there was maybe 3 to 4 areas that a scene can start, and only one of those areas on a day, say splitting them into the main courtyard and then the unlockable garden and docks. The next issue I have is not anywhere to read what a potion does when loaded, drank, or tossed. I would very much appreciate a section in the pause menu where I can see what each of my potions do for each use, and possibly upgrades I can get for them instead of just having to remember. And lastly, I would appreciate it if there was a quit run option instead of just a full return to title screen when in the tower if there is a bug or I get soft locked. Maybe just as an additional option to the already existing pop-up warning that will end your run if you exit the main menu. But overall, I did really enjoy the game, and I'm happy to hear they plan to add additional content in the future, and excited to see what they add. A lot of the content for the video was quoted from my live stream, so if you want to check me out live, a link will be in the description. My username is Snickering Hyena Cookie there. Also, I'm setting up for a charity event for the first 2 weeks of December. I'm participating in the Jiggle Jam that's hosted by the Yogsas, so if you want to come and support the charity for that, I would be very grateful to see you there. But until next time, hopefully it won't be another 6 months.